Hey guys, Lake Travis Mobile Glass here. Today we are working on a Jeep Patriot, and we're going to do windshield repair. There is a small star break right there on the passenger side at the bottom. Pretty simple little star break. We'll get started. You can see the windshield is a little dirty, so I'm going to clean that all up, make sure there aren't any other chips that need to be filled. And once I get that cleaned up, I'll put a mirror on the inside so we can take a better look at that brake, and we'll get to working on it. So thanks for watching. I'll be right back. All right, now we have the windshield cleaned up. Let's see if we can take a better look at it here. Looks to be about 3 or 4 lines. It's not a full star, but we'll get to work on this right where the rock impacted. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's that kind of little bit of a white divot. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill slightly right in that spot so that we can allow the resin, a more open area to flow into the crack. So how we're going to fix this is by inserting resin, if you want to, you can call it liquid glass, into that damaged area. It will fill it up and displace all the air. It will make it much less visible, but most importantly, it will keep it from spreading. So I'll get started. We'll drill, and then we'll set up our bridge assembly, and I'll show you how we're going to inject the resin. All right, now we've drilled. You can see right there in the center. And what I'm going to have to do now is all that dust, that glass fragment, we'll have to clean out. What we use is a kind of specialized air pressure. Look like a doctor. So we're going to use this here. I'll put that right in the hole and shoot air into it to clean that all out. Those little particles can get in the way of the flow of the resin, so we want to make sure that's nice and clean. All right, now to get the resin into the crack, you can see here, this is what we call bridge assembly. And this side's the injector. That other side right there is just a stabilizer to help keep it still. The center has a suction cup that holds it against the glass. And as you can see, we lined it up right over the top of the hole where we drilled. That way, the cylinder, we can put the resin, a few drops right there, and we'll use what we call a plunger, right in the finger, and that will force the resin into the crack. So we're going to put some in there, and we'll show you the next step as the resin enters into the crack. All right, now as we start to apply more pressure, screwing down the plunger, you should be able to notice the resin flowing into the cracks there. And what it's going to do is make those cracks much more difficult to see. Nice and slow. We don't want to cause the cracks to spread or grow, but we just want that resin to flow in there. This step of the process, usually about 10 minutes. We like to just take our time, not use too much pressure. Give the resin a chance to flow through. If it's too cold, the resin obviously will be a little thicker. In that case, we will apply heat just to help thin out the resin, and it will flow better into the crack. I'm going to have to use both hands here. I'm going to apply heat, so we'll pause this and I'll come back and we'll see how it flows through. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch it in real time, but you could see how the resin has worked its way through. It's a little cooler today and we're in the shade, so the surface of the glass is probably 65, 70 degrees. So we heat it up in the area of probably 100 degrees, 110. and that definitely makes a huge difference. Thins out the resin. That resin can get pretty thick when it's cool. So obviously you can see it's worked its way through rather quickly. Once I applied the heat, it only took me 60 seconds or so. So we'll give it some time, allow it to work its way in, and we'll be back showing you in the next step, which will be applying UV light to cause that liquid resin to harden or dry. So it's just like glue, except by UV light it hardens. All right, we're doing double duty here. We got 2 different UV lights on it right now. So just like I said, the resin itself hardens only with the UV light and time. So we leave that on there for about 5 minutes, maybe a little less, and then we'll be able to remove the light in the bridge. What's going to be left is the spot where we drilled. That's really the only part on the surface of the glass that is left to fix. What we're going to use at that point here is we have pit polish and pit resin. So this pit filler or pit resin is a lot stronger, a lot harder, thicker resin. We're going to put that right on the surface in that hole that we drilled, and that will hold up against the elements outside and keep the surface of the glass nice and even. It won't be streaking when your windshield wipers are running. And then the pit polish, if you're wondering what that is, so the resin itself is not as clear as the glass. So when we're finished, that little spot where the pit resin is, it's a little whitish, kind of cloudy looking. So we'll use the pit polish and clean that up to make it nice and clear. All right, so now we have the pit polish in place. You can see I have a square plastic, that's Mylar, piece of film over the top. The way the resin works, it's going to be just on the surface of the glass so it could drip. So what we use is that to flatten it out and keep it in place so it doesn't drip down the windshield. The resin, the pit filler, does work the same way, so we have to apply UV light to get it to harden, and then we're going to clean it up so there'll be a little bit of a mound or a bubble there. We're going to flatten that out with a straight edge razor blade. Once we clean that up, like I said, we're going to polish it with the pit polish. So this is what it looks like once we've cleaned it up. That's the excess resin before we use the pit polish. Just wanted to give you an idea. It's not going to look very different. It's such a small spot. That's the point where we drilled, but we will use the pit polish. All right, there's our finished product. I can almost make out, I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me try to get it to focus. A little bit of a bubble right where I drilled, where the resin didn't completely fill in right in that center. That was the pit filler. Sometimes that happens. It makes it a little bit more noticeable, but not bad. And from the inside, even more difficult to see, but it is right there. So that is how you repair a windshield. Again, Lake Travis Mobile Glass. If you guys need help with windshield repair or replacement, just give us a call. 512-240-9121. Thank you for watching.